All right. Hello and welcome to a Soberdelic James Addiction Recovery live stream, where we talk about addiction, recovery, and everything in between. Today, and in light of my 90 days alcohol-free and just on a blazing pink cloud trail this time in sobriety and recovery from addiction, alcoholism, and other deadly behavioral disorders, we're going to talk about giving our life over to the over to the care of God as we understand Him. Step 3. We made the decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. And what's up, nailing your coffin? That's how that's pronounced. And not everything's perfect. Your ego would like to send you a message that says, if it's not perfect, you aren't perfect. And if you don't do this and get this result, we're gonna bug the out and your whole day, your whole week, your month, and even your year is ruined. But what the third step has taught me, and I'm just going to speak from just my experience. What the third step has taught me recently is, if I am willing to make the leap of faith to put my trust in a God of my understanding, which is more powerful than I am and more powerful than alcoholism, it has worked wonders. And there's been tests along the way, and there's been not so comfortable lessons, and even very recently, including that last live stream that didn't work. My opinions aren't our opinions aren't as valuable as we think they are, apparently. You know what I mean? It's like, you have no idea who I think I am. So the opposite of ego is humility. And so on and so thither. Let's read on and get this. Selfishness and self-centeredness, the root of our troubles, driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. We step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us seemingly without provocation, but we invariably find that at some point in the past we may have made decisions based on self which later placed us in a position to be hurt. You ever wonder why you attract a certain kind of person that, your relationships, there's simply not enough time to go into the depth of all of this. Or is there? Our troubles are all of our own making. We have to quit playing God. It doesn't work. God is going to be our director. This is our decision in step 3. He is the Father and we are His children. Most good ideas are simple, and this concept was the keystone of the new and triumphant arc through which we pass to freedom. And this language can get... You know why it's tiresome? Because your ego is fighting it with everything it has. And that's why it'll get redundant sounding, and that's why. But listen, man, this should have saved my life. I'm not letting go of it. I went to a meeting this morning. I'm going to one after this. And if I start feeling different, I'm gonna go to a third one. because that's how much of an impact this stuff has made on my life. Individual opinions, individual egos, individual values, standards, perspectives, even ways of life do not really faze me anymore. My opinions have gotten me hurt, trashed, jails, institutions, and death, and I was so sick of them that I was, hey, what's up, Miss Ford? Yeah, 2 parts, because what do you mean 2 parts? Yeah, this is a live stream because the last one was flashing and haters were hating. And God told me to start a new one. You know, don't make me doubt my new way of life, people. If you want to test me, I'll tell you what I used to tell people that tested me. You want to test me? Because I'm a pass, motherfucker. I missed the first one. I was sad. Aww. What do you mean the first one? It was like 5 minutes ago. Are you happy now? Okay, now we're at step 3. This is what the book says. Don't let me even mess it all up with my opinions. Now we're at step 3. Many of us said to our Maker as we understood him, God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of thy bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. And that's the 3rd step prayer. You're offering yourself to God because, look, man, me saying my ideas are the alpha omega, which somehow we think. I don't know how I thought everything I think must be right. Your ego tells you that in your own voice because it wants to reside over your consciousness or something. More will be revealed the more we, practice and find out. But look, man, at the risk of sounding redundant, ego is the enemy. Deliver us from ego. Egos are flimsy, and mine ran my life. It was so paper thin, yet so powerful for 40 years. We found it very desirable to take this spiritual step with an understanding person such as our wife, best friend, or spiritual advisor, but it is better to meet God alone than with one who might misunderstand. And all this God stuff is heavy and can be overwhelming and has taken me for a spin. A good spin, nonetheless, but not everything is peaches and cream 100% of the time. And that's apparently when you give it to God. Have you ever heard of a God box? In the rooms of recovery, people talk about a God box. So apparently there's a technique where you have a box where if you're worried about something that's bothering you, you give it to God. You put it in the God box. Do you know? And then you let go of it. Control, it's been suggested, is the issue with alcoholics and addicts alike. And when you relinquish control, a peace and serenity comes over you. And man, you kind of, your ego disappears. Mine's creeping back, and or every once in a while, or constantly it's trying to live. Let go and let God. That's right. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. Island lit. Great lesson. You can always start your day over. I do it many times some days. You know, in the very beginning of my having a sponsor, this very time he said, that sounds like a rough day. Feel free to start it over. Which took me by surprise, because when I told him about my problems, I expected him, you know, in his world to stop and be like, wow, that is such a unique and special problem. You must be really, really stressed. Because, man, you're the only person on earth. We think we're special and our problems are special. Which I still have, I still have trouble with why they're not, because it feels like they're the only problems in the world. I'm the only person who's ever had that problem. Island Lake Jewels and Loan Incorporated. Okay, man. All right. And step 4 is a personal inventory. Step 3. Now, first of all, let's read something from, and I posted this in the description of this video. Well, it basically says this. Where is it? Oh, we basically think we're the directors and the main actors. Main character syndrome is a common problem or among us humans. Right, we're the main character. I still go into AA meetings and think there's 40 people in the room, and I'm thinking, all right. And this is automatic almost. You have to literally give it to God to get rid of this syndrome, because it's automatic that I'll worry what they'll think of me. And like everyone in there is worried about me 24/7. Is basically how my sponsors puts it. Like, look, man, you're not that interesting. You're not that important. You're interesting. You're important, but you're not that interesting, and you're not that important. For all of these naturally self-centered individuals to be thinking about me is just illogical. And that's one thing I learned. And I'm gonna go to another meeting tonight. I'm going to my home group because I got knocked off guard. What is bothering me today? Some of the comments I've gotten from these past couple streams, but most of them very supportive. Thank you. But I'm realizing how stupid I've been in thinking that and how fragile and flimsy and you walk around with this shield of beliefs and values and opinions, and if they get broken, your whole life is messed, and you end up drinking, man. Quiet desperation. No one has time to worry about anyone else in most situations. That's right. But what do we think? What does our ego tell us? Oh, it's so messed up. The clearer it becomes, the more complicated it is, but it somehow becomes so simple, but complicated it remains. I'm doing this. I'm trudging this road as I'm explaining it. I need to read and do more on step 3 myself, because it's perplexing. I can't get my words together today, but let me just tell you. turn that mirror into a window and listen to others, watch others. William Money, I worry about others when I'm sober. Man, I walk around. Are you talking about, what do you worry about? I always worry about what their thoughts of me is, and what step 3 did for me and does for me when I remember to practice it is think about them and help them. Try to get out of my head by thinking about them. Somebody said on this channel, I like the comment, when we look down, we feel big. When we look up, we feel small. When we look down and at ourselves, we feel big. When we look up towards the sky, we feel small. Which, you know, to fix my mood, because I'm still affected. You know, just because you work these steps, just because I'm working these steps doesn't make me impervious. And I just talked to a guy 45 years sober, and he's telling me about his ego still trying to take control and stuff. And the most painful, the most valuable things I've been learning these past 3 months, it's been flooding me. It's been a culmination of like everything I've experienced in my life. It all makes sense at certain points, and then it can be overwhelming and confusing at others. And that's where the phrase "easy does it" comes in. First things first comes in. I'm beginning to, it's suggested in the rooms, and these streams are about the steps, so I'm going to continue talking about it. In the rooms of AA, it's suggested that you meditate and pray every day. And this has been helpful because my thoughts will just take over my mind when I wake up. They're probably taking over my mind when I'm sleeping, probably dreaming of selfish matters. You know what I mean? Today, the only person that makes life difficult is myself. If I judge others, I'm probably judging myself. Island Lake Jewelry and Loan. Island Lake has, let me look back at your message. Oh, that was in the other stream. My bad, Island Lake. Can you remind us your journey so far briefly in sobriety? Naylin, European I call her, but it's pronounced nail in your coffin. Concern is one thing, but worrying about others is in regard to criticism of how someone looks or how screwed up they are, etc. I always, and this is probably attributed to my and all of our personal childhoods and stuff like that, because you know everything crazy happens at that time. And I apologize if my mind is hazy today. I've had a big day. I woke up before the sun came out and took care of all kinds of stuff today. And then I took a nap. I took a nap and woke up 10 minutes before the stream and got all discombobulated. My first stream was all glitchy. I had resistance. I haven't even processed what is wrong with a person in my life that is like angry and hating yet. I haven't really processed all of this. Now I could start over, which was a good point. Island Lake, who has 2 years sobriety, go to AA meetings every day. Word is bond. My sponsor goes, I think, every day. I go. I've been going to AA meetings. I say I'm going to do 90 meetings in 90 days because you know who suggested that to me? My higher power, the voice of AA, which is the voice of God to me. For all it's done for my entire life, I'll listen to it. And so I do. And it says go to 90 meetings in 90 days. And that's what I'm doing. William Money, 1 month, 6 days here since detox. No AA yet, though. I did about a month before I started going back to AA seriously. You know why I went Money? I went back to AA, and I'm going to change the color of your chats here. Please excuse me. And I'll tell you why I went back to AA, because I was going crazy. Restless, irritable, and discontent. I hadn't drank for a month, but I needed it so bad, I just said, you know what, AA, I'm going to do whatever you say. And that's literally my story of how I am here today. Let me change the chat box. Skimbles. Color. Size. Juno. What? Wait a second. Really? Are you mixed serious? There it is. No? Well, congrats, William Money. Listen, I was abstinent. I did step 1 and I could do it as long as I as long as I remember I'm powerless over alcohol. It took me 7 years. It took me 7.5 years of struggling, fighting. And that's the point of step 3 is like, you no longer have to fight anymore. To my understanding, and more will be revealed as I trudge this happy road to destiny. More will be revealed, and my ego tells me don't be the big book thumper. Well, I'm gonna thump the hell out of Big Book, because that shit is money. And now I'm not understanding why this isn't changing. Oh, wait a second. Hold up. Daniel Jeffrey. Keep doing the damn thing, James. Overjoyed to see you healthy. Daniel Jeffrey. What up? Yo, some of you long-time viewers, first-time chatters, I'm so happy to see you. Let me see if I can get this a little better. People who know they need to go to meetings and just do it. Thank you, Nail in Your Coffin. Knowing me, I would likely never go. Well, that makes a lot of sense to me as far as... Because, like, look. Well, here's the deal. People argue about AA and, like, AA sucks. AA is a cult. You know, the reason I'm having such a hard time today is because of all the chats I've been dealing with. The hater chats online. I get, every time someone chats on one of my videos, whether it be the 5-year-old Anthony Hopkins video or yesterday's stream about the second step, I get the comments to my phone. So I'm like chatting with people that are commenting on my videos pretty much all the time, and not all of them are good. Some of them just want to fight, and I like to, I mean, I guess my ego likes to argue, which... You know, when you're caught off guard and you forget to work step 3, which we are not saints, we practice these principles in all of our affairs, but not to perfection. We being the program of AA, emphasize progress, not perfection. Island Lake, my disease keeps trying to tell me I can drink again. I need a reminder that I can never drink normally again. Yeah, well, like I said, I went 7.5, almost 8 years coasting on the first step, which is I'm powerless over alcohol. My life has become unmanageable. I still know that step. I knew it when I took my drink again. But because of not working steps 2 through 12, I was miserable, restless, irritable, and discontent. And now I realize I do need medicine. Every time I go to a meeting, I feel better. I spent 2-3 hours at the meeting this morning. It was an hour meeting. I spent an hour, maybe an hour and a half after the meeting talking to this guy. Well, he was talking to me. 45 years sober. This is an 80-year-old man that sees, he sees sincerity in me. And that's why I told him I'm going to go home and process all this, because I don't know why he took me aside and was talking like that. And he said God had me. He didn't know he was going to talk to me after the meeting. God spoke to him. But to all these haters and to anybody that doubts AA, let me tell you something. It's our disease, our doubt. It's our egos that keep us out. It's our disease, our doubt, and our egos that keep us out. You know what I mean? Arguing is all I did when I was shit-faced. So AA suggests you pick up a white chip and give up the fight. Pick up a white, give up the fight. Stop fighting everything and everyone. And man, does that feel, just feels so good. When I'm arguing with these knuckleheads that either come live or they come and comment after the fact on a video about how AA's whack, it's a cult. And I have perfectly logical answers for all this. And I just wish somebody like this 80-year-old guy who's been sober for 45 years, I wish this guy could answer for me, or my sponsor. Because these people, I mean, some of the wisdom in these rooms is just like uncanny. It's just crazy. Inspiring, and it will just flip you on your head and just be like, you say things like, I can't go to 90 meetings in 90 days. That's one meeting a day. The first thing you learn is there's many meetings a day you can go to in many locations at many times, all around the world. The second thing that your sponsor may point out to you is, you drank every day, didn't you? You went to the liquor store, rain, sleet, snow, sun. It didn't matter. I was walking to the liquor store. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, any day that ended in Y, I was drinking, so I can damn well take my ass to a meeting. So I do. And then I started figuring out, once I let go of my will and stop fighting everyone and everything, and I'm only at step 3. And I've done these steps before, but somewhere along the line in my head, I got it in my head that all you need to do 100% is the first step. So, because I thought I was the smartest thing running. Yo, now when a thought comes into my head and it sounds so right, I'm like, I better clear that with somebody in AA, because there's been time for a while. You guys might have heard me say I have trouble streaming because I might have said something toxic and been on the record and affected someone's life negatively. And I just don't want to do that. Something about I've always sensed AA is like this higher power. It's a room. It's an organization that has no money circulating, no power, no nothing. The only and primary purpose is to stay sober and to help other alcoholics get sober. So to come on this stream again and talk about AA, my ego tells me things like, it tells me all kinds of things, just like your ego tells yours. It'll tell us everything to keep us away from AA or God or whatever is going to save you from your ego. Your ego will tell you in your own voice, it'll convince you that is not the way to go, which is the cunning, baffling, and powerful part about this disease, is you never see it coming until God's on your side, and until you have AA, you don't see it coming. If you've been here a while, you know I started this channel in like 2018 or whatever, and I got sober 2 years before that, or 3 or something. I had damn near 8 years without alcohol or other deadly drugs. Sure, I was smoking pot and doing mushrooms, but that's a whole different bag. That's a whole different story. I'm not doing that right now. Right now I'm doing these steps. These are my medicines. Because y'all know alcohol is just a symptom of the problem. Our alcoholic consumption is just a symptom of our real problems. It's, in my opinion, what we perceive to be the best medication for our mental malady and spiritual malady. I mean, shit. Yeah, I argue I don't know. It can come in useful, but like, if you look at your motives for arguing, most likely it's going to come down to ego. You feel like your identity is threatened by this person with this other opinion, and you feel like your whole identity is shattered. Like when people insult AA or they call it a cult or whatever, I can see everything they're talking about. There's one answer they call it a cult, and I'm like, well, what's the motive for the cult? If there's no money, there's no power, there's no sex overlord, there's none of that classic cult shit going on. So what's the motive? The motive is to stay sober and help other alcoholics gain sobriety. That's been going on for 90 years, we'll call it. It's like 87 or something, 87 years. So boom, AA is medicine. I'm going after this because, like, I want to tell you all in no uncertain terms, in ways that will touch you and you will believe, that AA is what you need if you have mental problems involving the ego, obsession for control, or any kind of drug and alcohol abuse. AA, the 12 steps. It's been a long time coming for me. And I've done the steps before, desperate to get what they offer. They have promises, the 9th step promises, which we shall read soon. But it promises everything that alcohol promises sobriety will deliver. And it's already started. For me, it started for me when I sought AA. I've been on pink clouds before. I have damn near 1,000 videos, including the live stream on this channel. A couple of them are on the pink cloud Maverick. So look it up. Soberdelic James Pink Cloud. I'm on a pink cloud. Maybe not today, because haters have been effing with me all day. And I'm only a man. I will get annoyed. Until I remember, I'm not in charge. You know what I mean? I'm on a mission from God, like the Blues Brothers. And it feels great. AA is awesome. I'm still a drinker, not perfect, but will work. AA will work if you work it. AA is not a car wash. You can't go in, spend an hour, and come out squeaky clean. You got to work it. It's a process. Nothing is perfection, but AA is a process. Nobody will be perfect, right? It says, all of it's in the big book, and I'm paraphrasing, but they say, progress, not perfection. It says it right. Let me just read how it works before we get out of here and go about our days. How it works is chapter 5 of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'll read it. It's the one that has the steps in it and all that. How it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. You have to be ready to do whatever it takes, and that's the gift of desperation, the GOD. And I know you do, Maverick, and you know what? It takes so many drunks to get sober, so like, you got the right attitude, but you know where to find it. Also, this was pointed out to me. If I want what I have, which was misery and just lack of manageability on my life, then I'll do what I always do. If I want what AAers have, then I'll do what they do. And that's just the bottom line. And that's every single word. So I don't feel even adequate to represent AA most of the time. I'm doing my best, and that's all we can do. Skeedily dee, skeedily do. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Without help, it is too much for us, but that there is one who has all power, that one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. That was me. I was desperate enough. I'm a great AA rep. I hope so. Right now, that's what God says. God doesn't call the qualified. God qualifies the called. Whoa. Word! Let me just continue to read to wrap up this stream. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. There's 12. If you follow them word for word, you will get what they have. If you follow your ideas word for word, you'll get what you have. So if you have what you need and everything's peachy, you don't need to be in AA. You don't need the steps. But if you feel like you have a God-sized hole in your life, check out these steps. Number 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and our lives had become unmanageable. Number 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Number 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Number 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Number 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Number 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Number 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. Number 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Number 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Number 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Number 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Number 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order! I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is, we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. To wrap it up, our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, which is in this book, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. This book makes clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And C, that God could and would if he were sought. Being convinced we were at step 3, which is that we decided to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understood him. Just what do we mean by that, and just what do we do? The first requirement is that we be convinced that any life run on self-will can hardly be a success. I'm totally convinced of that, and that's what led me to step 8 and being willing to do it. I was honest, open, and willing. That's what I did. I'm hoping God guides me into guiding you, and I will do nothing less than that if I can, and when I can. I know I can, but I may stray. My ego might talk for me sometimes. I'm hoping you'll recognize me and forgive me for this. I don't want anything from you. I just want to be able to get this message to as many people as I possibly can. And that's what keeps me sleeping like a baby. Like I heard, and I'll leave you with this. The best pillow at night is a clear conscience. The best pillow is a clear conscience. So you do the next right thing, follow God, try not to listen to your ego. And that's how you do step 3. And you can get sober and come back to it. You can work the rest of the steps if you're not too sure about 3. But just be willing, honest, open, and willing. Open mind, honest with yourself, and willing to just give it to a power greater than yourself. Well, I'll be streaming every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, keep it clean, keep it real, keep doing the damn thing. Peace.